You will then walk through here. There's 2 power switches for this machine. On, off. On and off. That's for your feed chain. That's for the main power. You'll come over here. The PC will boot up. And it's going to alert you that you walk through the light barrier. This is the light barrier. If you walk past it, or if you stick your hand past that laser, it's going to shut off the machine or not let you start it for the day. So what you need to do is come here and clear it. That's your clear button. And then when you hold the X down, it clears that code. We've already started the machine for the day, but what you do is you turn this key until this one starts blinking. Then you turn it once. But you're not done. This key is in setup mode. So that's for if you're calibrating the tools, you have to be in setup mode. We'll go over that. To operate, you turn the key to the right. That light's going to blink again. You're essentially acknowledging it. 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then one more. To turn the saw on, you're going to hit the saw button once. You're going to watch the amp load jump way up. And that light's going to keep blinking until it goes solid, like it just did. Then you can touch the feed. When you start for the day, that little button is going to be black. That means fully automatic, meaning it will, as soon as you put a board on there, it's going to feed the board, make a solution, and cut the board. We run in semi-automatic, and we do override and optimize. Just leave it at that. All right, so when you're in here, on the left are your cutting lists or program files or whatever you want to call it. If you wanted to choose this one, you hit it, then you hit the saw icon right there, and that activates it. I don't like that it jumps like this, but that's how it works. So now where the saw icon is next to the name, that's your active cut file. For the example we're doing today, we're just going to use the first one. Okay, the boxes on the left mean it's active. If you go to the right, you can see all active or all deactivate. So if you deactivate them, they go away. You can also choose one or whichever ones you want manually. And when you go into production, you'll see them there. All right, so when you're making a cut list, when you're making a cut list, let's say for the 1 1/4, sorry, let's say 1 1/2. Let's say you want 50 pieces at 8 foot. That's where you put in your required piece. Now you do have to know what lumber length you're using, so I'm assuming you know that. You take required piece, that's where it's going to be. But let's say you wanted 50 pieces at 8 foot and 1,000 feet of random. What I do is I do 1.501, 1.501, okay? And then I make this the random. Okay? So now you have an 1 1/2 program with your pre-cuts, we'll call it, at 50, and a 1 1/2 program at 1,000 feet random length. And what this looks like, I'm just going to do an example. So over here, okay, over here, is where it's counting. Let's actually change that up. Okay. So over here is where it's counting your pieces and counting your footage. So, one other thing, you have to check this box. That's the required length stop. It's important if you want it to stop. So when you go to the screen here, your 1.500 is your pre-cuts, and your 1.501 is your random length. Well, you can see on the other screen, I put in 10. So it's counting. That green bar will continue to rise as you get to your required piece count or required footage. The 1501, we put it in that we already have 500 feet, so it's halfway. You go back. You can see that. That's your 10. That's your 500. So if I put in 1,000, that's what we needed. See? It'll show that it's hit its number. If you're done for the day, you're starting a new job, your job is done, you can hit reset, and it'll take away your data. So let's say you got your 100 pieces, that's where it's going to be counting for you. You can reset it. Now the 100 is gone. As far as setting up programs, that's pretty much all you need to do for setting up a cut list and starting the machine. Next thing you need to do is get your caliper out and measure the thickness of the lumber and ensure that you get a good accurate measurement. Up here shows you your thickness of material. So right now it's at 918. What you have to do is turn off the feed, and this knob is your thickness adjustment. To the right raises it, to the left lowers it. And you'll see when I'm turning the knob that the number is changing. And that's your pressure height. Going down, say it's 4/4 lumber, probably around there, 15/16. You got to do that. If you don't do that, you're either going to get too much pressure or not enough. Not enough, it won't feed. Too much, it's going to jam up, and it's very hard to clear the machine on a jam up on this thing. So try not to do that. Get closer, I'll feed another one. But it's taken the board over there, and then it's giving you a solution. 1 3/4. I can tell that's going to be a little tight. Actually, it'll be okay. If you look, the brown is your estimated waist. The red is the board. So, you think that's going to be a good solution? You take number 1 and push it down. That feeds the board. %, to start the day, you need to take your caliper and check the rip width and make sure that it is calibrated correctly. Rarely the saw blades get out of calibration, but sometimes when you get a jam up, it will loosen some set screws in the machine that can throw the blades out of calibration, and they will not position correctly. Typically, what we've seen, if that happens, a bad jam up, it could be off a 1/16 to an 1/8. Your PC here is on wheels, so you can move it out of the way. You're definitely going to want to move it out of the way for opening the hood. The hood is clear to open, okay? To open the hood, you have to turn the key back to setup, and you have to acknowledge it by turning the key till it's solid. Clear that code. All right. Now you're able to open the door. All right, there's a handle here. Pull the handle up. All right, I'm gonna do my best here. But what you're doing, I'm just gonna do the first pocket, so your pockets are numbered this way. This is pocket 1. This first blade is actually a fixed blade. This is your first movable, second movable, third movable. So it's pocket 1, pocket 2, pocket 3. What you need to do if you realize that one of your pockets is off, also too, when you're doing that, yeah, either way. When you're calibrating, it's good to find a board where you can get 3 pieces out of it and calibrate all 3 at the same time. Calibrating one is not good in my opinion. Do all 3. So find a narrow rip, 1 5/8, 1.625 rip is a good one. So what you're trying to do is you're taking your caliper and you're measuring the saw curve. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So like this one is 1.575. If you come back to the computer, you go to service, you go to calibrate. We are calibrating our blades. Well, I don't need to do it, but I said 1.575. That's as accurate as it's gonna get. I don't want to calibrate it, but what you would do is, this is why it's best to do all 3 at the same time. You put in your number, 222. So yeah, you would put in your number, bop, 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 hit enter, and then go to the next one. Put in your number, hit enter, and go to the next one. Put in your number, hit enter, and go to the next one. Then when you want to make your change, again, you cannot have a 0 value. You have to have an actual value. You hold saw axis calibrate down for about 4 seconds, and it's gonna update your numbers down here to the top. We will make a separate video on maintenance, but for right now, this video is just general daily operations of the machine to get you feeding lumber. And you do have to check the oil daily because the oil does go down, so that's very important. Grease is not daily, it's weekly. Oil it has to be checked every day. Alrighty. So here we go. Do a test here. So this is how you load up the machine. There is a sensor, I believe it's like right here. Once the board crosses over that, it'll engage the system to raise the board and push it over. Okay? So on the screen here, it's saying your best rip is 2.5 inches. If you don't like that, you can override it. So I can say 2 3/8. Or no, 1.5 inches. Oh, that's... Okay, that's what it says. Either way, you can override it. I mean, you can say it's this, but we know that's not going to work. The board goes past the material. So 2 3/8. Okay, yeah, we like that. Looks good. You can double check your lasers. If it looks good, send it. power down the machine, you have to always do the feed and then the chain. Or sorry, the feed and then the saw. Once that light stops blinking, it's because the blades are still spinning. All right. This always comes up when we stop the machine. You can always clear an error. Well, not always, but that's where you clear an error. Okay, those 3 dots there on the top right, you're gonna have to type in the password. I will give that to you when you get here, and that'll allow you to get to the power button. Once you get to the power button, you just hit it once. It takes a little bit. Okay. Then this is Windows based, so you just go here, power it down, and yeah, okay, we need to update and shut down. All right. If you had to restart the program, you can go here and you run as administrator. It's the only way to run this software. Yes. And it'll reboot.